I haven't thought about what I was going to talk about. I've been talking all day. Hopefully my voice holds up, but I could answer questions a little bit. For you guys that don't know me, I've been fishing professionally for 27 years. Hold on, let me pull this tag off. So I've been doing a long time. I take it very seriously, I guess. A little too serious, I think, sometimes, the amount of work I put into it. But I think as a professional sport, it's pretty tough to be competitive. So I figure if I work hard, the harder you work, the better you do. But some years aren't always like that. As I worked really hard yesterday, and I had one good event, but I don't know. It's there's so much to this sport. And like I said, I do fish major league fishing. It's a lot different than bass, where every fish counts. It's a pound or bigger. And I know this year is going to be different. Right now, I think the first event is going to be a 2-pound minimum fish. So we can do pretty much anything we want. We let the fish go after we catch them. You guys probably all know that. But there is quite a bit different. Even the tour is a little different than the cup events or the major leagues I fished until this year. We're a little bit different because of maybe more anglers and the multiple days. It just seemed different than what I was used to. So the long story short, I think I should have drop shotted last year a lot more, because there was like almost every tournament I fished, I was like, yeah, I should have drop shotted more. And then now looking back on it, kind of studying back what I did, and it's funny how I've been known for drop shotting and I didn't hardly drop shot at all last year. So that was my biggest fault, that I think I could have done a lot better in a lot of events I fished. I didn't pick up a drop shot. But with the Ned heads and Nikos and so many different rigs coming out, it's confusing sometimes even to me, right? The Nikos something that's picking up, and I still think that, you know, overall your drop shot's probably your overall best ultimate finesse rig. I may argue with some people, I do on tour a little bit, but I still think overall the drop shot's going to be probably going to catch more fish throughout the year, just because it's elevated, and you can rig it so many different ways. You can put weight in the worm, you can gilly rig it, wacky rig it, nose hook it, Texas rig it, short leader, long leader, really long leader, you know, 4 feet. I've seen guys do all kinds of weird stuff with it. So it's such a versatile rig. I mean, I do a lot like in the spring. I talk about this thing about every time this time of year, but a lot of times I use a little short drop shot if I am going to drop shot. So like an inch or 2 leader, a little short. And I even seen some here, they have rigs now where you put weight on it, like it's on a split ring on a hook, and that's kind of like sort of like a drop shot too, so the weight's below the worm. It just makes everything kind of tighter, just like this time of year water's colder. Typically I don't really drop shot when the water's like it is now, like a shaky head, or I'll do a Ned head a lot. But I'm just saying, if I do drop shot, it's really short. It depends if you're where you're at. I know we're in Texas right now, but I know, like, say Lake Martin in Alabama, even even Logan Martin last week was pretty clear. You could probably do a pretty good drop shot rig with 3 or 4 inch leader. I still use a little bit shorter leader, but there's usually other things I catch them on. I'd like to catch it. I think right now the best thing working is probably an umbrella rig, from what I've heard from my friends. And the day I went fishing at Logan last week, that'd probably be, if I was in a tournament and it wasn't banned, I'd probably throw nothing but an umbrella rig, which I haven't thrown in 3 or 4 years since I can't fish them anyways, so I don't throw them. Not that I haven't thrown them. Do you guys throw umbrella rigs on? Yeah. They're if you can fish them, you have to fish them. They're pretty much one of the best rigs to catch a bass, especially this time of year. My season, though, if you guys are wondering, I'm with Shimano. I've been with Shimano pretty much my whole career. I've always used Shimano reels. I used G Loomis in the late 80s and 90s. That's why I saved my money up for working at a tackle store. It was basically rods, a bunch of IMXs, and then Megabass picked me up years ago, and I was with Megabass for like, I think, 15 years or so, and I stepped out of that deal just because I didn't have good communications with them, and I've been with Enigma since then for a while, and I picked up, it's funny, I've kind of done a full circle with a lot of my sponsors, with a lot of stuff I started with and left and then came back, and I am with Loomis now. I'm very happy about that, and Shimano, and the rods are awesome. The sad thing is I have all these new rods and haven't had a chance to go fishing yet, and that's the honest truth. I've had them since September, November, and I think I've fished maybe 4 or 5 times since then. That's not my fault, I've just been gone a lot. I always tell myself, ending the year last year, I'm gonna fish a lot more, and I tried to this year. I fished a lot after the last event. I went fishing 3-4 days a week, even if it was for 3 or 4 hours. I went fishing, Aaron Martens, mostly Coosa rivers close to my house. You got good largemouth and spotted bass. But it seems like once about, I guess, December started, I hardly fished at all. It's just trying to get the business of the sport, sponsors, some of the obligations. I had to go to Florida and Connecticut. Then California was on me. And it just gets too busy. When you do get home, you're trying to fix stuff. I even do my own home repairs. I know a lot of you guys do that. I did that yesterday. Still coming in the house. So just busy. But excited to go fishing. I want to go really bad. I just don't think I'll go maybe 1 or 2 days before the season starts, which kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I think I still know how to fish. Right now, when I get home, I did all my Loomis rods. I actually did some stuff to them, little modifications here to make them how I like them, and they're actually coming out with a new series I can't talk a little bit too much about, but I got some, they're at my house now. NRX has come out with basically a new rod. I don't want to say too much, so I'm not there funny about that, but it's quite a bit lighter than NRX's, and they're already pretty light, and I don't know, I just seen pictures of them, and some of the changes they did are changes I do, so hopefully it's like I think it is, and it sounds like they're going to be phenomenal. I can't talk about too much about it. And when I get home, I got probably a couple hundred Plano boxes that were sent to my house in November that I offered to pay for, but I guess being me, I wrote a letter and emailed them, and I think I ordered like $4,000 worth. The waterproof ones, which are the only ones I use now, they actually are waterproof, airtight. And I got a whole, 4 feet by 10 feet of them, like 6 feet wide, a stack of them. I'm going to try to convert all my tackle. I probably got too many, but I'm going to try to convert it all to boxes. I've been doing this for like, I don't know, 8 or 10 years. I've been kind of going more boxes. I always said bags are probably the best. Sometimes you put plastics and stuff in boxes, or boxes, they go oxidized, or water gets into the boxes, moisture, humidity. And if baits have any salt in them, even the air get into just plastic baits over time will ruin them. And I'm not sponsored by Plano, I'm just saying that this method works good. Those boxes are actually airtight. So I've been doing this with the watertight boxes probably for 4 or 5 years, and the baits are in there. Even baits that are rigged on bladed jigs, spinner baits, I do a lot of them in those boxes. They're perfect, even after a couple of seasons. So it definitely works, but now I see how good it works. That's what I'm going to do this whole next week, is probably convert all my bags, which are probably 300-400 pounds of plastics, into boxes. And the problem is I camp, I don't have a lot of room, and it's tough. The fact is, I think watching Edwin and like this time using some of these guys I know, I did similar to the way I had fish. They have flat bags in their truck, and pretty much everybody, if you ask them for something or they look for something, it seems like it takes them a long time to find it. And I run into the same thing. Even though I'm organized, I keep up on it, all my bags are organized. If you go get a bait at the end of the day after you fish the day of competition, it takes you 10-20 minutes to find a bait to restock what you lost. So I know the stuff I have in boxes is less, instead of 10 minutes, 5 minutes to find some, it's literally like within a minute I got the box in my hand. It just cuts time down, like quadruples the amount of time you save by doing this. So that's my goal before the season starts. It's probably going to take me, I haven't started yet, so I don't know how long it's going to take me. I imagine it's take me 4 or 5 days, 10, 12-hour days, just laying plastics in boxes. I gotta look forward to that. So I still use a lot of Yamamoto stuff. I got a lot of Robo stuff. I'll tell you guys one thing right now. If you guys are thinking about doing that, the Robos do have a lifespan. I know I talked to some guys here that bought too many Robos at a time. And the reason for that is any bait that's made in California has got the kind of emissions or the rules about the plastics they use. It has to be a kind of decompose. It has to basically go back to nature over a period of time. So I'd say 2 to 3 year lifespan on robo worms, about all you're gonna get out. So if you do buy robos, work really well. If you guys fish them, they catch they catch fish good. But the trick is they're usually pretty good at having never running out of colors. You get them here, or you call it even they take orders from the plant. that you can almost get any worm within a few days. So it's always, I found now that I order way less, as I used to order 10 bags of this, 15 bags of that, and you never use them all, but by the time you get to them, they're bad. So you get about 2 or 3 years, and I keep mine that I don't use. If you keep them cooler, they'll stay longer. If you keep them in the heat, you might get a year out of them. That's about how fast they'll do. So if you have them in your boat, by the end of the year, they might start to look funny. And there's ways of counteracting that. I have a lot of guys tell me they like them when they're faded, but they get that nasty smell if you smell them. You can like scent them. Like I use JJ's Magic still, a little bit, a few drops of that in a bag. That's why I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. It's on the bag. But if I put everything in boxes, I don't know if I want to scent everything, because that's gonna make your whole box smell, right? So maybe some robos I'll keep in bags. That's my goal. And I don't want to talk too much. I haven't learned too much new stuff this year, except for I know I use the Uniknot, FG. I know last year I showed some demonstrations how to tie it. That's not very. You guys tie the FG yet? I know some of the people I was talking to last year were gonna try the FG now.
I got a question.
Did you learn FG now?
Oh yeah.
You got it now?
I can do it in the boat.
In your teeth or holding it?
In my teeth.
Okay.
I can't do it.
It's a hard one, but it's once you get it, you get it. I think. I don't know if I remember how to tie it. It's been a few weeks. What's your question?
I wanted to ask you, how is your mindset different now and how you practice for a tournament versus before?
Last year is, I can't complain. I won a tournament. Besides that, to me, it was a really kind of non-eventful year. For me, it was kind of, I wouldn't say boring, but it just seemed like I was in the back of the pack most of the year. And I got a second in one of the caps. I did good in some of the tournaments. It just seemed like I was missing something, like the practice. It's tougher. It's one of the hardest things about Major League is, I guess, fish conservation, keeping for you to catch later, because you really, if you try to back off on it's either somebody else will catch them, or you're not going to catch enough to qualify for the next round. So there's not really much saving of fish going on. It's like pretty much everywhere there's a guy fishing, he's catching as many as he can, which can make it difficult, a little more difficult. So I guess practice is really important to try to find, and you get 2 days practice, not 3, which is less practice. And I don't know, my goal usually, and last year I did it, was try to find stuff out kind of off the beaten path, stuff that maybe other guys won't find. It's worked for me in the past, but it works for a lot of guys. It's what a lot of guys do in tournaments, is they save something or find something different, and they catch them everywhere else, and then last day or two it gets tough on everybody, and then they have something saved up. And that's perfect scenario, and that's how it works. If you can do that, that's the best way. It's a multi-day, and it's all week tournament. So I fish one day, I'm off the next day, and then some of the other guys are beating the lake up. So I don't know where those guys are fishing. You don't know if they've fished the stuff you've been saving, or hopefully you've been saving. I know a lot of times I saved stuff and gone back to it, and it was no good. But I know, talking to like JT Kenny, he tells you, it's amazing how many times you guys fish the same spot. It's a different day. So it's definitely nerve-wracking. You can't think about that part of it. You just have to kind of, honestly, I'm hoping to get my tackle down to about 2/3 where it's at now, because I carry probably more than anybody I know on tour, on both tours. I don't know about the Bass Tour now, but as far as the MLF, I'm pretty sure I carry more different tackle. I'm trying to eliminate stuff I'm getting better over the years. It's all good stuff, but there's certain baits you just don't hardly ever throw. I need to get rid of that stuff. Focus more, maybe fewer selections, but better ones. I was talking to some guys earlier today about colors. How many colors in a trailer do you have for a jig? You can get away with 4 colors, they talk about that on stage when we're fishing. There's like, they're just trying to hide his green pumpkin trailer, But there's green pumpkin, black, watermelon, you gotta have those. I think some kind of blue, like a sapphire blue or something's necessary, but maybe a chartreuse, they get chartreuse watermelon, make it a chartreuse. So it's like really not that. So I've been carrying maybe 6 or 7 colors of long baits. I'm gonna eliminate like 2 of them. And that will actually help organization, and the choices should be easier when it comes to that. So having too many choices sometimes can kind of mess you up. I know I run into that a lot, but I'm trying to think of other stuff I do. I still go barefoot. I still try to. I've been trying to get back in shape. It seems like every year I get in shape, and throughout the season I kind of lose it a little bit, and I'm back in shape now, but it seems like I've been taking the classes, what they call those, not yoga, I don't do yoga.
Pilates?
Stretches, no, the CrossFit.
Oh, okay.
For balls and stuff. That's really helped. I've been doing that for like 3 months now, and I'm hoping to bring that on tour. I know a couple of guys, can't remember the name, a couple of guys bring kettlebells with them, they bring the heavy ball, and they'll do it a little bit. And this is just to stay kind of healthy, because it's hard to, and in MLF you do have a day off here and there, so you can do stuff more. So that's kind of one of my goals this year, is stay in better shape, and I think if you stay in shape and you stay more competitive, it's actually it seems like the MLS are very high-paced, and it seems like everybody's always kind of razzled a little bit. It's always like kind of elevated. So I figure if I can stay fast, and not as fast as I can, but a little bit below that, I'll be fine.
Is there a lake you're looking forward to the most?
Looking forward to, definitely Eufaula. Yeah, Eufaula is like I'd say it's like one of your guys' good lakes here. It's been really good. Like last year, a lot of 30-pound bags to win. Usually it took around 30 plus to win a team tournament. So it's on the up. It's right now it's high. It's that in Gunnersville I heard has been really good. I haven't been to Eufaula probably since July last year. I went and I probably caught 24, 25 pounds. That was July. Didn't catch a lot of fish though, but all the fish we did catch were like 3 and 4 pounders, some 5s. So I usually fish Eufaula 3 times a year for the last like 10 years. I fish it. That's a lot for me. There's a lot like Gunnersville I haven't fished in probably 2 or 3 years. So I'm very familiar with that one. I know it's got grass in it now. It's been fishing really, really well. So, but I look forward to all of them. Even I gotta say, even Winnebago, I'm looking forward to. That kicked my butt last year, and being in July, middle of July, and the fish were in the middle of spawn, kind of threw me off, because typically those lakes up there, June's kind of the middle or towards the end of the spawn. So being in July, I thought for sure those fish were done. And I think this year we may go in a little later, a couple weeks later, so they should be done the tail end of it. But that's one of the hardest parts about jumping around like we do, is I don't research anything. I don't look on a computer, which I need to do that more. But I don't know what stage the fish are in. And last year I was off like half the year, like on the stages the fish went. Either missed it too early, I was thinking, or too early or too late. It seemed like we were right around the spawn of the whole season. And that's the hardest time to like figure it out. It's like right in that 3 or 4 weeks, I think, of the spawn area. It's really crucial what the fish are coming or going, or they've been out for a week or two, and not knowing that is very tricky. I was kind of hoping to go more in the summertime. But I'm ready for the challenge. I think that's why I said I didn't drop shot enough, because one of the best ways to catch them during the spawn is a drop shot rig. And if I would have just done that and not put it down, I probably would have done a lot better in a lot of events. And yeah, so this year's gonna be similar. I don't know if we're gonna get much offshore. That's one of my favorite things to do, is fish offshore and crankbait, spinning and all that. But I think we'll hit a few. I think we're coming back to Fork in, is it July? We found out May. Middle of May or something like that. So that should be, to me, I can't tell me anything. I imagine that's kind of similar to Birmingham. It's here. That should be, done spawning. March?
Y'all are coming in mid-March.
Is it March?
Yeah, BBT's coming in mid-March to Fort.
Thanks for coming to that. So it'll be spawning.
It will be the early phase of the spawn.
So it'll be in the middle of spawn again. That's right. I know. I'll say one thing. I used to be really strong. I've done really well. Won quite a few tournaments during the spawn. I always seem like get top 10s at least. And I don't know, the last few years, 10 years or so, I got kind of burned out on bed fishing. Because I guess I think, I don't know, it just kind of bugs me. I know I'm from California, I don't think I'm weird or anything, but I just feel bad ripping off the bed. And I used to be really good at it, but now I kind of tends like I pass those moments sometimes, and I should be. And even though I know I'm catching fish, not seeing under a bed fish, so, and we go, so I just I get that, just I guess go bed fishing next year. That's gonna be all messed up. Yeah, I missed the summer. But I'm trying to think. We got some new stuff coming out. I'll tell you guys while I answer more questions. But we got I know we got to come out with some new stuff. Just get excited. There's a new drop shot hook coming out, a new flipping hook, and a new traded hook coming out, and a feather coming out. I've been playing with. So we got 4 things from them, and I know there's some Picasso stuff. I've been talking to some of the guys at Picasso, like the shock blades. They have a new shock blade out now. It's got like a aluminum blade on it. The head shape and where the eye is, the bait's real erratic. and I fish a lot of bladed jigs. I have a large selection of them, at least a few hundred of them, pretty much all the ones out there, plus some custom ones, and this is my favorite one so far. But it's I'll just say with the 3/8 ounce is could be the best one, but the half ounce works, I think, better than the rest of them, but the 3/8 is special. And my goal right now is to try to get the half and the 3/4 to work like the 3/8, which if I put a little time into it, I think we can, but it's a phenomenal bait. Like, I just skate one and try it and see what you think about it. I think it's the best bladed jig on the market right now. That's already out. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. I don't know what I can talk about. I know Cows is one of my sponsors. I know Real's we got a square bill we've been working on for the last couple of years. That's coming out this year, probably in a couple months. I know it's another square bill, but believe it or not, Real's doesn't have a square bill right now. They have some crankbaits, but they don't have a traditional kind of square bill. So trying to make it different, but there's only so much you can do to make it different. It is a good bait. I actually tested it last week. Some of the prototypes they sent me and caught a fish at Logan on it. What else? There's a lot of things I gotta think. There's one other thing that was kind of exciting that was coming out soon. You got a new vibration bait. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Real. It's a Japanese company that, mostly hard baits. They come out with some new soft baits, swim baits to come out with, but there's a traditional bait that was actually really, really popular, especially in the Tennessee River chain, like Chickamauga and Gunnersville. They sell a lot of baits in that area. It's a 62 and a 68. So this last year I was in Japan for 2 weeks. We actually spent a lot of time working on the vibration baits, the weighting in them, and the eye position. And this new one they're coming out with, which I had a prototype, but I only have one myself. I had to send them back. It's actually we really made it better. Doesn't sag grass as much. It wiggles at a lot slower speed. So be looking out for those. I hate seeing. I think it's the best, but. I got every trap or vibration bait. I've carried red eyes for years, but after this new one that we got right, I don't need to carry any of those other ones anymore. But is this something to look at if you guys like it? I don't know, next year tell me what you think. It's really good though. Rubber worm is all the same. Nothing new from Obo. They just got worms at work. I've been working on a couple soft plastics. So all the years of fishing plastics, I still haven't really made some of the scope, and I had a little bit of hand in. Some of the baits that Robo makes, I may kind of curve them to make it like they did, but I never really came out with the worm. I got a couple ideas I'm working on that might be next year, but I got to come out with plastic. I got so many ideas for plastics, it's driving me crazy. Swim baits, it's just, I don't know, my table's full right now. That's probably why I'm so scared right now. When I'm at home, I'm working on tackle, but I'm also like texting my sponsors constantly. It's been crazy. But enough of that. I don't know what else to really. You guys want to hear anything special? I've been talking so much, I just keep talking. You guys have a question? He has a question right here. I am here for Phoenix this month. I did save your question. I ordered a new boat this year, a 921 Elite. I have not seen one but once, so I'm kind of jumping by. I like the 921 XP. I think I had 5 or 6 of those, and I went to 21 PHX for the last, 3 years. This is my 3rd one this year. I know I talked to a lot of people today about it. The PHX is a phenomenal boat. It's just, the only thing about it fishes bigger. So if you're on big bodies of water, it's awesome. It fishes shallow. It rides probably the best riding boat I've ever been in, for sure. It just fishes kind of big. The 21 PHX does. Like I said, I ran it last week. My same boat, I ran with a light boat in it, 75 mile an hour. I had 23 feet on it. I should have had 24 on it, but it's an incredible boat, fun to drive, but I need something that, I don't know, I never got a 920, I've never had 920, I've had 721s, which are really fun, but you gotta remember we fished 3 people on our boat a lot, and it's, you like that bigger boat, and the 921 XP was an awesome boat. I loved it. And I guess I wanted to try the PHX. I love the PHX, but I'm going back to 921 Elite this year. And I don't know if any of you guys have those yet. I guess they come in here and they disappear quick. But that's what I'm getting this year from Phoenix, the Mercury. If you guys have any questions about finders and stuff, I'm kind of open right now to talk about anything. Because I'm not sponsored by Humminbird anymore, so I can say the good and the bad about anybody right now. presently going to be using Garmin, obviously, right, because the live scope. And maybe the 360, play with that this year, and Humminbirds, and I might even play with Martens this year. So right now I'm open, we'll see what happens. This year I like the Garmin's. I know the Garmin's have been really good, but I haven't used their side scan. I don't know if you guys have. I can ask questions too. What's that? Oh, the power pole one? Or the fours? The Ghost?
No, the Ghost is
The
Lawrence.
Ghost is Lawrence one. I've used the Ghost and the MLF Cup events. I haven't seen the Garmin one yet. I've seen it at the iCast. It seemed really nice, but I have no knowledge of that motor yet. I got an old tricks right now. My plan this year was to get the power pole. Nobody knows anything about it. It's crazy how quiet that's been. But I keep hearing it's the best. It's the best. I hear that, but I'm gonna see it first. And if it's the best, I think it looks like bulletproof and it's gonna work good, and I'll swap it out during the year this year to go power. I mean, I love power pole, and they're kind enough to pick me back up. I mean, I was with them from the beginning when they started making the poles, so it was no problem getting power poles. And they said they want me using it, but they're fine with me waiting on it. But I keep hearing from other sources that that's gonna be the best one. Like hands down. And I'm not just saying that, that's just what I've heard from a lot of guys that have seen it. It's something different and revolutionary, and that's all I've heard. A power pole. Yeah. But they've been saying that for a year now. So I know nothing about it. That's funny. But I'm sure it's going to be pretty good. I mean, considering how good the poles have been, they're pretty much bulletproof, and I never hear anything bad about a power pole. It's the poles themselves, and I've used them for years, and I had very few issues with them. So we'll see how that goes. But that's funny, is I have no electronic sponsor and drummer sponsor right now, so I kind of feel free right now.
Did you use 360 a lot?
I had it on my boat where I had a bracket, where the bracket's really easy. It takes a few minutes to put on, right? So when I rigged my boat for the last since they come out with the 360, I have them just leave a wire. So all I do is plug it in, everything's air power, and it's all connected in the bow. So I can put one on in just a few minutes if I have everything there pretty fast. And I did put it on and off, but I haven't tried the new one yet, the Mega one. And I know the old one was, I talked to Octafo. Now Octafo's a firm, Brendan Polinack. I talked to a lot of guys that use it a lot, and they really love it. And I've gotten a boat with them even, and watched how they used it, and looked at it, and I see the benefits of it, but I also see it just seemed like kind of slow sometimes. Because I've always used side scan the trolling motor, and that's one of the things I ask Humminbirds. They do a scan. I always want them to do a scan forward. So when you're trolling forward, you're scanning forward. So instead of having to do this, look in front of you, you could just kind of move the motor a little bit and kind of pan the area in front of you. But they never did that. So I'm so used to having to turn the motor, and it's so much quicker. I guess, I don't know, it seemed like I was always moving too fast. I guess if you're sitting still and not moving a lot, it's really good. But if you're going down a bank at like 2 miles an hour on a spinnerbait or a blade jig, it seems like it's kind of behind you by the time you get past it. It's like it's too slow.
Is it a better
when you
tool?
speed it up, right, you can make it faster, but then you go fast, and it's like you lose a lot of the definition, I guess.
Is it a better tool? Is it a better tool to fish flats with? Yeah, if you're like a lot of the big lakes here, if you're fishing like up on a point that brush piles on or stumps and timber, it's really good for that. You it's almost like this radar. It kind of goes around and beeps it, and you can kind of tell. But this year, I've already used the live scope for a day in January this year, I think, last year, and I was kind of blown away by that. And then I saw enough to think where I need to, how am I going to use that being sponsored by Humminbird. So maybe they heard me talk. I never talked about it. I was real quiet, but I was really impressed with it. And it has this, I guess you can name it. I'm not sure how much you can name or turn it. I know you go up and down with it. But as far as when I was using it was facing forward. I was kind of like where I wanted it. So it was really accurate and quick. So I'm going to try that this year. And I'll have my boat ready for 360, and so we'll see. I don't know. I will see what happens. I haven't used the new one yet. Has anybody even seen a new one on the water yet? A new 360? Yeah. The rods, I'm still getting. It's funny. There's not really getting used to Shimano and GMS rods. They're pretty much, think about as good or better than anything out there. So I'm excited about that.
And like I said, I haven't had a chance to catch fish on but maybe 3 or 4 of the rods I got, and it's pretty sad. But I just haven't been fishing enough, but I'm excited about the season fishing them.
So how'd you come up with the 4 new colors for Duo? Let me ask you that.
Oh, the new colors?
Yeah.
Those are, some of those colors are kind of similar to colors we've had for, I mean, some are like colors I've used for years. We did a little bit of changes made to the back colors, but it's colors that I've used, some of them for 20 years. Some of the ones like the Morning Dawn, I don't know if you've seen the Morning Dawn one, that's actually one of my favorite ones. And that was actually one of the best colors at Biwa. I was there, like I said, fish Biwa for a couple days, and we tried a bunch of new colors, and the water's got about 12, 14 foot visibility, so it's really clear. But that Morning Dawn one, we tried all the colors. That Morning Dawn one was like, and we had 4 or 5 of us fishing. Some Japanese, some guys from America. David Swinseed was there, and that pink one was the one, the Morning Dawn with the chartreuse on it. And so that was my favorite color to start coming out with before we threw them, because I wanted that morning like a pink jerkbait, and that one's gonna be a good one. The other ones just work. They have their times, like the chartreuse belly, and they're just good colors. They're more transparent ones. There's a few more colors. They're actually, gosh, I'm working on getting them in other baits. There's actually like some of the red colors they have. I'm not sure what they're calling it right now. It's like a transparent red. I've been throwing that a lot in Clearwater on the jerkbait and the vibration baits, and it's very effective in Clearwater. I could like as good as any color. It's just kind of like a just straight red. So that's good. That'll be a color I think in the next few years you'll probably see pop up for jerkbaits and some crankbaits and stuff. But they have actually quite a few good colors. The American Shad, they have a lot of colors that are very productive. I'm still working on a chartreuse white. I don't know if you guys throw their baits. There's not a lot. They don't have a lot of like really pretty watercolor colors yet for their baits, but they do have a few hazard chart and stuff. But those 4 new ones should be good. I mean, most of the colors, those are all pretty much all 4 of them like a clear water, more clear stained watercolor baits, which is probably what you have here right now. What do you have here right now? A couple feet visibility? You need to throw something to start, right? Probably like Alabama. I mean, I think Gunner City might have 3 to 4 feet, 2 feet in some areas. So right now you want to throw, I think, usually like really bright pearls and chartreuse, whites. They do have that too, but these new colors will be probably kicking in once the water starts to settle, gets a little cleaner. I want to answer some questions. I can keep going on drop shot stuff. James, do you have any questions yet?
Keep going. I'll find it.
I'm trying to think of something to stretching like that.
What's the color boat you have?
Similar. My boat has this is my 3rd boat I think I ordered without flake, so it's just a straight gel. It's like, what, 40 pounds lighter?
Is that why you go so fast?
It's fine because my baits are organized. If you guys have a fast boat, you want your boat to run fast, I always talk about this. It's kind of common sense with boats, but I always tell people like pretty much 5 pounds in the front is like 20 pounds in the rear, so 20 pounds in the front is like whatever, 4 times that. So whatever you push past the front of the boat, like in the front storage, is going to be like 4 times what it would weigh in the back. So if you have 5 pounds here, it's 20 pounds there. So on boats, I always keep my heavy stuff, like my famous bladed jig box is like filled with a big thick one that's full. I put that stuff in the back. It's like a 15-pound box. So everything heavy in the back, and I do carry I keep my plastics in the back, but I keep some stuff in front. But that seems to make your boat go a lot faster. If I move all that stuff to the front, like normally I'll lose 2-3 miles an hour, like bam, like that. So if you guys want a secret for speed, it's that. And I actually balance the boat out too. So I try to put, if I'm on that side of the boat by myself a lot, and I get a partner, I'll kind of move stuff real quick. My stuff's pretty organized, so I can move weight to this side. It actually helps. It's funny. Like when you're graphing, you have 2 guys sitting here trying to pick up fish. If you're both tilted a little bit, if you have to say 30, 40 pounds more, it's going to cause you to tilt a little more. So the more balance you get your boat, everything works better. I do run lithium pro batteries. I love them. I run a cranking battery. I've run it for years. With a new motor, I got a new Mercury. It's
I think I'm not exaggerating, but it's about 90% charge at the end of the day. And I don't have live bulbs running, but I do have two 15-inch Solex and a 12-inch for mapping. And you know, even when I'm on the trolmer a lot, not leaving the graphs on, I usually put the 15 on standby on the console, leave the map on. It doesn't really seem to hurt it. And fishing all day, even in tournaments. I have fished like the open where I fished live bulbs full this year, but I ran quite a bit. My batteries, I plug them in, they're charged like 10 minutes later, my cranking battery. I say that because I've had a lot of guys tell me they won't run lithium cranking batteries, even guys that fish against, which is, to me, is crazy because the motor starts at a higher speed, it turns over quicker. And I swear everything seems to work better. But I've had really good luck with lithium pros, running all lithium. I think I've been running lithium for 15, 16 years now, if I'm not mistaken. That's crazy. I've never had one catch fire, but I've had some moments in the past with other companies where it wasn't good. So I've had really good luck with them to run 3 of the 36 volts for the 12 motor. I know they're expensive, and they're roughly about $2,000 a piece, unless you can get them to come down on you at all. And I might be able to deal with them if you order 4 of them. But on these boats like this, you really only need 3. The only reason I get three batteries total is all you really need. And then some guys here, the way you guys fish, you probably could run 2 batteries, a cranking and a 12 motor battery. So one battery is 36 volts, and I figure you probably go 10 or 12 miles on one battery on this boat. You could probably go, at least 8 or 10 miles on high. You could probably, on one battery, you could do at least probably more like 12 or 14. I figure with my 3 batteries, like Lake Mead this year, I think I was putting easily 30, maybe sometimes more than that, 40 miles on. I'd still have 30, 40% of my charge left with 3 batteries. So basically 3 batteries, you can't wear them out. You almost can do a dark to dark on high. That's how crazy it is. That's what I like. And you got that, right, James? The lithiums? Wow, it's so bad. It's like, if you guys can, I know it's expensive, I give you a deal, I'll help you out. It's amazing. If you guys haven't run lithium, it's amazing. It's the difference in the way the boat feels it's hard to explain unless you fish with a guy that has lithium batteries, because you can tell when you get a boat that's got lithium on. Your whole shot's like half, and especially that motor. And the boat sits flat on the water instead of getting up in the front, it sits real flat, so like even the Phoenixes, you get 3 AGMs and a cranking battery in there, the boat's going to sit a little bit higher in the front, which is water deflection. So when you're actually going into the water on the 12 motor, you're catching water and driving it down. When you have lithiums, the water goes more straight off the back of the boat, so you troll faster. And they have up to 20% more power than the AGM. So it says 12, 28 volts, but I swear it's putting out more like, the cranking battery probably puts out more like 14, and the 36s are, if you put a 36 volt against 336 AGMs, you put them in the water and hit the trauma on high, and have the batteries hidden, you'll know which one the lithium is right away. It's much stronger. Instead, it'll be, obviously, you can actually tell the difference just by the way it thrusts. So there's a lot of benefits of it. They charge up a lot quicker. Even if I run my batteries down to 20, 30%, they'll charge up in like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's 3 batteries. And that's a long time. Normally, a typical day of me fishing the major leagues and a full day of practice, typically like a half hour, 40 minutes, the batteries are charged. So plug them in, I'll do some tackle, and by the time I get done with my tackle, the few things I need to do to get ready to cover the boat, my batteries are charged. So I just unplug them, put everything away. It's just money. That's all it is. Some of the problems you heard in the past are, overcharging, or guys had water getting the battery, moisture, which is a big deal with lithium. And I know that's all you've always heard, lithium and water don't mix, they don't. And that's probably what caused some of the major issues we've had. But the newer batteries I've been running, probably the last 3 or 4 years, they changed the cases on them. I haven't had no issues. So been very happy with Lithium Pro. And that's the benefits of lithium, though. This whole shot, you'll save fuel. The boat, I think it performs better overall. As far as handling, turning, everything kind of seems crisper and cleaner. So it's a lot of weight. You're getting rid of, they're 30 pounds a piece compared to like, I think AGM's about 85, or you can get to 90, right, for AGM. So you're knocking out, basically it's like running almost like 1 or 2 batteries instead of 4. So you knock out a bunch of weight.
and they last 10 years. So I mean, I'm not going to guarantee it, but most of these batteries do have a pretty good lifespan. They have a good warranty on them, but they'll. I think they say they lose maybe tour regular like 2% a year you might lose. So 10 years you might lose 10% of the battery strength. That's still going to be like now. I guess it's like it's a power tool. I have power tool dremels that are 10 years old and they still seem to work just as good as when I bought them. So it lasts a long time. It's an investment. If you're going to get them, you could probably, if you're real serious fishing, you could probably take them out to get it over a couple of years. If you guys are, really into fishing, going to go pro or something, you could actually take the batteries out and have a cheap set, put them in there, and just keep those lithiums, put them in your new boat. Or if you want to keep a boat for 10, whatever, the rest of your life, they'll probably last the rest of your life. So, but it's an investment, but you got to pay up front to do it. That's a little story on lithium. You guys have any other questions about batteries? I use exterior chargers too. I always have. I don't like my charger being in the boat getting beat up, so I always charge them with like a golf cart style. But they do have inboard chargers. But I just heard guys have more problems with those for some reason, so I always go the safe way. That's with a charger that sits in my truck and is pulled out. It's like a golf cart style charger. So that seems to be the best. Over the years of doing both, I like the exterior chargers better. You just have a plug you plug in, and you also take out like 30 pounds away of your boat too that way. All right.
Does cold weather affect your lithium?
Really cold weather, that's a good question. It doesn't affect them, it does things to them. Really cold, the troll motor never had issue. I fished, that Lake Murray when we had was it Lake Murray? What is that one? It froze like 9 degrees out. No problems with the troll motor batteries. Never had issues with the troll motor batteries. The issue with the cranking in the past was the cranking batteries would act funny. For some reason, maybe they'd say amp draw, you draw when you hit the motor or you do something. And they have done quite a few changes electronically. I know a lot of the other companies that's what they have issues with. That's why a lot of guys don't run them. But Kevin at Lithium Pro said this new battery this year is different. Last year it had one issue, but I figured out what it was and how to fix it. It's actually fixable, and the trick is to either draw your battery down. This is funny. I'm being honest here. You can do a heating blanket on your crank battery, which is I'm not going to do that. You can put a light on. You've heard all this before, and what it does is if it's really cold and you start your motor up and let it idle, and these new motors, probably the Yamahas too, and the Mercury's have the alternator is really high, whatever it is, 65 amp, whatever it is, it can overcharge your battery and turn it into a Guardian. And that's what's happened to almost everybody that's had issues. So the trick is now either keep your battery warm or you can just turn your graphs on, say when you leave the house. Because I mean, you can leave these graphs on. I could leave 3 graphs on my cranking battery for, I don't know, a couple days, and I won't wear them down. The battery is 2 AGMs, like one cranking battery is like 2 AGMs. So you can it's not big to turn your graphs on, but that's what I found over the years is to be safe is if it's really going to be cold, even if you have a half-hour drive to Lake, just turn your graphs on, let them run. And that will draw them down after you start your motor and warm it. So right now, what happens, I probably shouldn't talk about it, this is what's happening to a lot of batteries. It's overcharged them and put them in Guardian, and once it's in Guardian mode, it's so high that you got to discharge it. And in order to discharge, you got to discharge at a lower amp, which might take hours. So it's hard to get the battery low. I tried training like live volts, even if you ever run into it, you have them in the future, which it shouldn't happen anymore. They heard the new ones, or they fixed that, is to turn live volt on, let live volt run. But just turn some energy on before you start the motor. Because when there's real cold days, you have to as soon as you get to the lake, the first thing you're going to do is just let your motor warm up, and that puts them over. And for some reason, they can't register the lithium, and they overcharge, and then the battery goes in Guardian.
So do you need like a battery container throughout winter? Like I live in Wisconsin, so it's 30 below 3 months over there.
Yeah, if I was you'd have to ask one of the engineers on that one. If I was if I was to put in the house.
That's what I'm wondering. Do I have to do what I have to do with the batteries now?
Yeah, I would, to be safe. It's too much of an investment to risk that. Like I said, I have no ill effects in the troller ever. I fished in single digits, and I've never had, it feels like it's 100% at trolls, but I'm not putting any power into the battery. The trick is to take the power out before. I've even been told the last few years, if it's going to be really, really cold, don't charge your battery all the way. So I think the safe bet is to literally let your graphs run for a half-hour, hour. It's not going to hurt your power. You're going to have plenty of power on this battery. It's just, you got to get the amperage down so you have time to let your motor warm up. That's the problem. Everybody's. That's why nobody. That's why I not say nobody. I haven't had hardly any issues. So I do that now. I turn the graphs on. It's gonna be below freezing, and I don't have issues with the cranking battery. I've had very few issues with the batteries in the past. Like I said, a little bit of moisture again because they seal them better now. There's no moisture gets in. But they had I was with Lithionics for years. Now it's like back, like I said, like 15 years ago, and back then they were. They were probably nothing like they are today. So they're a lot more advanced now, and like I said, the warranty's pretty good on them. Even I've heard a guy like Lithium Pro that helps, like my guys that bought my boats 5-6 years ago that have them. He's worked with them with one. I know one guy had an issue and he fixed it. So they sent it to the factory and sent it back and didn't charge him. So what I heard, Kevin, the guy at Lithium Pro, he's easy to work with from what I heard. It's hard on me though, I'll tell you that. I need to sell more batteries. I'm not trying, I'm just telling you guys they are good batteries. There's a lot of choices out there. There's some that are like looking $1,000, but I don't know if that's the right route to go if you're gonna have a lot of issues with them. Any more battery questions? Yeah. Let's see, I can talk about boat stuff. Some stuff I can't. I know I got a bunch of stuff going on this year with videos. I know nowadays videos are a big deal. I do a lot of like stuff to the boat. I've showed a lot of people pictures and stuff. Maybe if you guys ask Phoenix to do it, he'll do it. But I do a lot. I do probably a week of extra stuff, like 4 days of extra stuff to my boat. And it's pretty much one material. I talked about this so much I feel it's old, but this is a foam material. You can do a lot with it. Insulation to the lids. I mean, these boats are really cool because a lot of their boats have like the speeders and stuff that won't work with, and like the Rangers that won't work with, and they need it too. But I actually insulated my boats with some foam I buy at Lowe's. You can go on the internet and probably see videos I've done. But in hot climates, it keeps your compartments probably 30-40 degrees cooler. So if it's like a super hot day here in Texas, which I know you guys get disgusting days like we do. These metal lids, like most boats are metal nowadays, they get super heated inside and can learn that. The trick on it, like any kind of plastics or hard plastics or like reaction based to keep the temperature down, and it's hard to do that. And I learned this trick from fishing like Lake Mead in the day when I lived out in California, fishing a lot of desert lakes, and it'd be 120. I used to put towels on my tackles, it would deform your baits would blow up. So I started insulating the lids, and like I said, the stuff I buy at Lowe's is gym mat material that links together, and super glue, and 2 hands and 2 feet. It's preferably do it barefoot because you need to use your feet like hands. And the trick is I usually do a whole panel, pretty much I'll do like a panel section like the rod boxes. I'll do, like I said, I've done videos on it, but I'll do a section, then hold the stuff up, and you definitely want it at least 70-75 degrees doing it, because if you guys ever work with super glue, it's 50 to 60 degrees, it takes like forever to dry. So preferably like 75-80 degrees is the right temperature. And just do a section at a time. So you usually glue the material either way, material or the lid itself, and stick up, hold it for maybe 30-40 seconds, and usually you can't let go and it'll stick, and once it sticks, you let it cure. It's I've done like, I don't know, 8 or 10 Phoenixes, and they're all still up. Like I've never had anybody say the paddings come down. I've seen my boat that's 6 years old. The guy uses it a lot, and it's got a lot more holes in it where he puts his lures, but the stuff's like still, it hasn't come down anywhere. You see that? So the super glue holds, and I've had to tear some sections off to get to some of the screws, like on the rod clips and stuff, to tighten them, because I had them loose and get jiggly. And I actually just tore it off, just kind of grabbed it and pulled it off, and it ripped off some of the material and stuck it to the lid. But after I tightened it back down, I just put a little more super glue and stuck it back up again. So super easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time and cutting. Use a knife, sharp, like a sharp little blade, and then I just work without doing my center one. The center one, I do all the bait holders on it, and like the rod boxes, especially the one in front of the console, I hang baits in that one too, so I don't have rods in that one. And it just works good with fishing stuff. Then the biggest thing, it keeps your stuff a lot cooler in the summer. And when it gets warmer in the winter, I don't know if that matters, but it definitely keeps the heat out of your compartments. Any fishing questions? Come on, I guess if there's something. What are you guys interested in? Nico, Ned?
drop shot. I know that you like to worm about the height of the leader.
That's just like, yeah, that's
Spring.
yeah, it's a
When
little
would
shorter.
you run them?
That's like fall. Yeah, the long leaders, the springtime, like typically a lot of things I heard over the years, like you can't go wrong with like a 4.5 inch worm. We use a 4.5 inch leader, but usually the longest leaders that I use 3 footers pretty common. Like
I've tried some of that.
but I mean, like Orville and like Lake Martin, 18-foot visibility. You know, the fish are 30, 40 feet out the bottom. They might be swimming around. You throw a drop shot, they chase it down. It seems like when it stays up off the bottom, in certain situations, they just go over and eat it. It's just quick way to catch them, and nothing else works that fast. Like say you throw a net or a Nico out there and it's slow, and then you can't catch them as fast. That's why I think drop shot overall is the fastest fish. Yeah, and then it hits the bottom and it's up. So usually the fall, like late fall, is probably the longest leader I'll use. Like September, November. Then it starts getting cold again. I get away from the drop shot. It doesn't, not that it doesn't work, but usually like a netted head or a shaky head or something tends to work a little better once the water gets cold and kind of dirty. And in the springtime, the fish are pre-spawn. That's when that length of worm's probably hard to beat. Like you don't need to use a real long leader that can pre-spawn and spawn, but if you use a 6-inch worm, I'd say a 6-inch leader is plenty adequate. Yeah, fish. Yeah. It's if you can, do like a wacky rig. Like I'll use my 1-aught if I can, just because you can wacky rig and get a lot more action, especially in that shallow water. If you can, get away from the grass and all that. The wacky rig's not like with the Gamakatsu drop shot hook. That 1-aught, you can use like 10, 12 pound on it, bounce like 4-pounder. That hook's really strong. The big one is. I prefer to do that just because they can eat it so good. It's like it's amazing. Just a wacky rig 6-inch robo worm. But if you have brush and stuff, you can even expose like Texas rig it kind of on a hook. Like I've seen some rigs that on a package that is kind of I'll do that sometimes once in a while. And wacky rig it, but Texas rig it, so it's kind of home worm size. Yeah, just rig it in the middle. You can do that and get the wacky rig action, or you can get a leadless hook. But I try to get away with that 1-aught or 2-aught gummy and just put like 12 pounds in. That way you can just. Hopefully you follow. That'd be good. I think you follow. I predict that'll be a really good way to catch them. That time of year, February, is going to be. It's going to be. I mean, they're going to be flooding. I could imagine they're going to be moving out. We'll see. We'll see. So we have. I told you about this drop shot had come out, but I haven't seen a prototype on that yet. But it should be pretty cool.
You like a cylinder drop shot weight or a bell weight better?
I use both. I have been using the Picasso one. I think we got a new one coming out soon, but it seems like there's new stuff coming out. It just seems like too short. They have an eye. They have the regular tip ones too, but I like the ones with the eye on them. I just tie a real quick single uni, 3 wraps. You can even do 2, but 2 will pull out. But if you do 3 wraps, it's strong enough where it almost breaks the line. If you pull it hard enough, it might pull the knot out, but just 3 wraps real quick and you never lose a weight. I always tell people if you start off with a drop shot box and fish like I do, usually by the end of the year my drop shots, during the year I have to replenish them. And since I've been tying them on, I almost don't need to order drop shots from last year, spring. So and like I said, I didn't drop shot enough last year, but I did drop shot a lot. Like Table Rock, I lost a bunch. Or not Table Rock, but Table Rock. And a few other places, Smith Lake, I drop shot and lost a bunch, but you don't lose nearly as many when you tie them on. It just seems like when the fish jump and shake real hard, they come from like a 2-pounder flings and they just fling off, and you gotta really tie them on. So I like the tie on ones, and I still use probably a 3/16, probably average is my best size during the year, but like when those fish do get up in the shallows, when they're getting up there, you can almost swim it, so I use an 1/8 ounce. Even if they're really shallow, 16 ounce, you don't need much weight. You can throw just the rig out there on a 16 ounce pretty far. And usually, I still do the FG. I hardly ever throw straight fluoro anymore. I got pretty good at the FG now. Sometimes I will, because I don't want to retie it during the match, but we do get a break in our matches, so I can't tell you how nice that is to regroup and to get a drink and whatever. We get forced into a break, like a lunch period.
What do you typically?
How long? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I usually, if I have to retie a lot, catch a lot of fish, like just from teeth, and maybe catching like 10 15 fish an hour, which happens often with that rig, I'll start off like a 25-foot leader.
like a 20-foot leader. And the trick with the FG, with the reeling on the spinning reel is, and I found with guides, I know limits, I should have better look at limits as they have a longer guide train on them. So the problem with a lot of the rods I was using last year, the guide was too close to the rod itself, so the line kind of came off the reel up into it, and it caused problems on the cast. And fishing at limits is a few times I have, like last week I fished them, and then before Christmas I got to fish at Logan a little bit with a spinning rod. I was actually having no problems. Like, it seemed like the line came off and went through the guides a lot easier, but their guide trains are longer. So it's putting it more center on the spool where it hits, so it comes off into the straight out. So that's made a huge difference. And right now, I think some of the NRXs, maybe they're kind of a little bit shorter, but I think it's important to have at least that first guide or second guide too to be kind of longer. Which I think they are making like that, so that's good. And don't cast real hard. If you try to really zing it with like 20-foot leader on there and get that speed going, it could still run into issues popping the knot off early and cause that big. So I usually, and then drop shot at 3/16, you really just have to do that. And I do it 70, 80 feet.
You just like a straight shank, or do you like to?
I use a lot of different hooks. I use mainly the drop ball. I use the drop shot hook and the Gumbyatsu and the heavy cover.
Right.
The finesse heavy cover one, and like Table Rock, I think it was used. I'm pretty sure it's using a size 2, which is that's such a strong hook for how big it is. With TGW wire, tournament grade wire, and the nano cut. It's pretty impressive. Like this, the 1/0 and 2/0s are. I mean, you can fish, you can bounce. I don't want to say that, probably 3 and 4 pounders easily without flexing the hook. Compared to what we used to have 10 years ago, it's leaps and bounds better. The hooks are nowadays. But I try to get away with a wacky rig if I can, but if it's too deep. Like, yeah, if I was fishing Texas a lot, and like I said, 1/0, 2/0, 4 or 6 angler fish prefer that type of. If it's right now, maybe a 4-inch might be better, something a little more finesse, but just wacky rigging it. If I'm fishing shallower than like 10, 15 feet. But once you get deeper than that, I always talk about the gilly rig, where you rig it kind of where the gill is on a fish, on the worm, and that sinks quicker, but it also gives it the same action as a wacky rig, where it shakes real fast, and it actually has forward motion when you twitch it. So if you're just doing that, the worm's constantly like, I kind of want to go forward, so where it's rigged, which is really cool. So you can almost do a circle at the end of the boat. You can almost like, I looked at it in the pool, it's pretty killer on the lake, looking at how it works. It actually has forward motion when you twitch it, is where it's rigged. So I do that a lot with the gilly rig, and it sinks quicker. But it gets the same benefits of the wacky rig. The wacky rig, so things slow, you have to put a bigger weight on to get down and start fishing 15, 20 feet with a 6-inch worm. It's like barely sinking, you know? You put a 1/4 ounce in there, it sinks faster, but it's still barely sinking. You put a 1/4 ounce in that gilly rig, it's like almost doubles the speed. But still get that good action out of it. So I do a gilly rig a lot. So what else? Do you guys have any questions about crankbaits? So what else? This time of year, I don't know if you guys jerk bait a lot. You guys probably already know this. I usually will swap my hooks out for a smaller hook this time of year. This is about the only time I will. Instead of usually going bigger, I usually go smaller. Just tend to get more bites, and the way the fish bite the bait, I almost get them better with a smaller hook. The mouths are thicker.
Like what size smaller?
Oh, like say like the Real is, I use that 120 a lot if I lived here. I use other jerk baits too, but that 120 is actually a really legit bait. And it comes with, I think, 3s on it. And I go to like 4s, go a size smaller. This bait moves a little cleaner, a little easier. That one spins pretty good. Like if you leave the hooks on it seems like the cold water, it actually tends to spin. The smaller hooks, it might rise a tiny bit, but on a cast, it's not really enough to really affect it. But I just tend to get, over the years, I've been fishing jerkbait for my whole career, and it seems like the wintertime, I always, even when I was in mega bass, like fishing the 110s all the time, I always went to a smaller hook in the cold months. And it was just because of the trial and error, it just got a bit better. It made it so the bait moves easier. It's a little bit lighter. And even the 110s back then, I think they'd make them slow rise a little bit, going to a smaller hook, but it just seemed to catch them better. So, and then summertime it gets hot, I'm ripping it fast, not letting it pause very much, so I do a bigger hook. Instead of a 3, I'll use like a 2. And you get those big giant Texas bass, right? They don't care. They care right now sometimes.
on those tough days, twitch, let it sit, and look at it, right? Little hooks help sometimes.